a fair assessment, honest assessment, penalty, discipline situation, desperate to use his word, should have been more comprehensive, gives Argentina credit. It's a fairly fair, rounded view. Probably tallies with what you boys are saying.
Yeah, I think interesting, though, that he says the discipline is desperate, because it was. I'm just looking at that scoreboard, and Matt, you picked up on the number of penalties. It was 13-5. If that's, if that's 5 penalties all to say, Ireland win that game by 15 to 20 points.
I agree.
That's it.
Yep.
And we're sitting here going, that was a great performance. Ireland are back on track. And we're rolling. Now, that's how you change. That's what they have to do, and that's not just giving away silly penalties. It's working harder to make sure you're not on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Working harder to make sure you've got the right numbers in the ruck. Working harder to make sure that when you are hitting a ruck, you're hitting the right man and you're very accurate about it. People think about a penalty and it's driving a shoulder into someone's head or knocking the ball down from an eye. It's not that, actually. It's the ones where they get in over the ball or you don't have enough numbers in the ruck. They're the key ones. And you eliminate those, you get those numbers down, you drop, 10 penalties, 7 penalties, and then Ireland are in a much, much better position. And then they get the momentum that we're talking about, we're not seeing, and the fluidity that we're not seeing. All of a sudden that comes, and that's taking it out of the opposition as well, and you've got a very different game. So, what will his message be? You can see his frustration in the box. His message will be next week, lads, if we're not under 10 penalties, there's going to be trouble.
Well, let's take a brief detour. Matt mentioned Chicago, 4 penalties so famously against New Zealand. You played that day. How, in retrospect, did Joe Schmidt get Ireland's discipline to be best in class? What did he do?
It was a Monday morning review. Your name is up in lights there if you've given a silly penalty away.
Do you suspect Farrell's similar method?
I don't know. It's hard to know because obviously we're not on the inside. But, as a player, if you know that your head is on the chopping block on Monday morning, you're going to think twice about doing something or being at a breakdown earlier, or you're so much more laser focused on your job and what you have to do.
Okay. Well, based on desperate, I suspect people may be called out this week if they weren't last.
And so they should be, Joe.
Yeah.
It's the only way to improve your discipline.
And we talk about this, what's the coach's responsibility? What's the player's responsibility? We saw Joe McCarthy there. He was 2 steps from being onside. That was the yellow card. You've got to take the personal responsibility to take the 2 steps back to get onside. That's just 101 stuff.
And they had the benefit of a warning just before half-time.
Yes.
So then you come in at half-time and the coach says, listen, lads, you've just had your warning. Stop giving away the stupid penalty.